What comes to mind when you hear the words rethinking the dollar?
Well, what comes to my mind is that most Americans don't even understand where money comes from. They'll hold a dollar bill in their hand and they'll say, this is money, but what makes it money and where did it come from? Most Americans can't answer those basic questions. They don't realize that our money, there's nothing behind the US dollar. There's nothing back. It's fiat currency. The only value that it has is because we use it and trade it with one another, but it doesn't really have any intrinsic value of its own. But yeah, and how it's created is it comes into existence through debt. The more debt that's created, the more money that's created is the way that our system works, and it goes back to the Federal Reserve and all of that. And so we've got this debt-based system in which we continually have more money created and we continually have more debt created, and debt is always growing faster than money is, and eventually that leads to a crisis. And so we're seeing this in Greece, we're seeing it in Puerto Rico. In fact, there's about 20 nations around the world right now that are having a major debt crisis because they all have central banks, they all have a similar system. In fact, today more than 99% of the world's population lives in a nation that has a central bank similar to the Federal Reserve. And so we're on the same path that Greece was on. In fact, since the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, the value of the US dollar, of our currency, has gone down by well over 96%. Meanwhile, the size of the US national debt has increased by more than 5,000 times.
Wow.
So we've got just this endless debt spiral, and that's what our system is designed to do. It's designed to create an endless spiral of debt from which our government can never possibly escape, endlessly creating more and more and more debt. And eventually it gets to the point, like we're seeing in Greece, where the debt's unpayable, the system starts collapsing, and there's a huge crisis. We're headed for the exact same thing.
Right.